I'm amazed my phone survived the drop like that. You know what? This is what the phone looks like after that. It's why I always wear a case. This video is sponsored by Pitaka, but the goal here is for me to share with you my 4-month experience with the S25 Ultra. Because the reality of things is that as someone that's used an iPhone for 8 years, after switching to Android 3 years ago and not looking back, it's eye-opening to see what Android is currently doing with phones compared to Apple once you have like the ability to download APK files, pop-up views for multitasking, have stylus support for markup and note-taking, a nice copy-paste clipboard, better keyboards, proper AI implementation, and other features like in-screen fingerprint scanner, volume controls, and better unlimited file management access. Going back to iPhone is hard, and the one phone that is truly giving the iPhone 16 Pro Max a hard time is the S25 Ultra, and I say this with confidence because for the past few months, I've had my fair share of weeks where I rocked other phones to review. Phones like the Vivo X200 Pro, the Nothing Phone 3a Pro, the OnePlus 13 while I was in Italy, and some other phones prior to the release of the S25 Ultra. So after comparing it to all of them, I've got a better idea of what the S25 Ultra actually delivers. If you enjoy our production, please consider subscribing to the channel. And those reviews made me realize that the S25 Ultra falls short in some ways compared to some of those phones, but it is absolutely the better package as a single unit, and a lot of it has to do with One UI 7, which is why I truly think the S25 Ultra is the best Android phone out there for North America. However, in some ways, it's sort of a marketing hype. Like, think about it. It's been the same last 3 phones minus a very few small designs. Technically speaking, it is the best S Galaxy phone, right? But I think getting a good deal for the S24 Ultra is going to be far more beneficial. I've seen lots of deals on the S24 Ultra right now for as low as $800 for the 512GB model, and the reality of things is that with the S24 Ultra, you're only missing on a few features like the bigger 6.9-inch screen with the same specs instead of the 6.8-inch display, a display that really sits within this new squared off body that I do like more than the S24 Ultra. It also has the upgraded Snapdragon 8 Elite that offers around 35% lift in multi-core performance, which honestly, I rarely notice it within my everyday life. And it's said to also deliver better power efficiency, but again, unnoticeable because One UI 7 updates have been recently bricking my battery. And then the S25 Ultra, well, it upgrades the ultra wide from 12 megapixels to 50 megapixels, which I think is the only worthy feature worth your dollar aside from maybe the new design. Overall, I'd say the S24 Ultra delivers like 90% of the same experience you'll get with the S25 Ultra. As for the new software and AI, although One UI 7 wasn't available on the S24 Ultra at release, as of right now it should be available within most regions. To me, guys, One UI 7 is absolutely amazing, even though it has its small quirks. And what I mean about that is that since release, there's been weird little bugs that have annoyed me quite a bit. And at first, when I was using it in February, most things worked fine. Like posting on social media was great, the fluidity of the UI for the most part was incredible, using messages to send voice notes worked okay. Honestly, whatever I decided to do with the phone for the most part was great. The one thing I did have a hard time though since the beginning was the camera. I remember going to an Audi event in Toronto that I was invited to, and the camera just, it wasn't cutting it. And what I mean about that is that about half the time I took a photo, the processing made it look like the lens was smudged. Like, if I was shooting in heavy humidity or something, a lot of the shots ended up blurry for no good reason. And to be honest, well, low light image quality is not the best on this phone, and from time to time, I still get some focus failures. All of it almost made me want to go back to my S24 Ultra, but I didn't. And then as time went on, I started running into this weird voice note loop. I've been running into a few bugs lately with One UI 7, I don't know why. Right now I have an infinite loop of a voice note running. Nothing's playing, but this is just running forever. Like, you know, and if I try to close it, and now it works. Of course, now it works. I tried to close it before, and the voice note was just still playing in the background. It's quite annoying. I'm actually still dealing with it from time to time. It seems like voice notes just has a mind of its own. Like it's playing, but nothing's playing. Like what is this? You know, I can't even pause it. And then this one plays at the same time. Like what the hell? What else have I ran into? With YouTube picture-in-picture controls, those sort of freeze sometimes. Also, RCS messages can glitch if you go from one SIM card to another. It takes quite a bit of time to reconnect. You might just need to reset your phone. However, I'm happy to say that I haven't ran into any display or screen quality issues. I know some people were claiming that their S25 Ultra killed their entire picture quality with highlights literally being torn apart. Not my case, so I guess that's great. With this, right now I'm dealing with this bug where I can't seem to lock my orientation. It's kind of really annoying. And there's also this one bug that drives me up the walls. My screen now decides to freeze when swiping up in order to go into the home screen. It literally just freezes for about 5 seconds. I'm also struggling with battery life, even though I told everyone to not update their phones to the latest firmware. Listen to me when I'm telling you this. Do not update your Samsung phone. Apparently the latest update is brutal on battery life. And then there's also Instagram. Sometimes as I'm going through stories, if I swipe up, I get these random black frames. It's very inconsistent, but it happens. I know a lot of these are related to One UI because with that OnePlus 13 I had, I wasn't really running into any of these. But as a whole, for the past 4 months, this has pretty much been my struggle when it comes to bugs. But the one freaking bug that's driving me up the walls right now is battery life. I don't exactly know what is going on because I thought I had found a solution for it, but battery life has been horrible. Okay, that's just how it's been. In Greece, for example, I was averaging about 3 hours of screen time, with a lot of the battery life usage being allocated to apps like Whoop, Instagram, and WhatsApp, where 90% of the time that's mainly how I was using my phone. But check this out, okay? The crazy part is that since I was away for my bachelor's party, I really wasn't much on my phone. In fact, most of the time I did use it, was for stuff related to the trip. But the moment I actually tried to do anything on it, the battery drain increased exponentially. Like, I never went through a full day where I didn't need to charge my phone by the end of the day. And when I mean end of day, I'm talking about 6 p.m., 7 p.m. when I had started my day at 10 a.m. So yeah. As a comparison to my day in the life, back when the phone was actually okay, with a 3 to 4 hour screen time from 7:30 a.m. to 9:10 p.m., the phone had gone from 100% to 2%. A day where I took some photos, watched some YouTube, went to the gym where I listened to a lot of music, and I was on social media within my rests. I chilled with Siobhan, spent 40 minutes scrolling on Reddit trying to troubleshoot my G14. I remember by 1:45 p.m. when I was at Porsche, I was at 64%. And then leaving the dealer after all the shots I took, by 2:55 p.m. I was at 50%. 3:30 p.m. we were at 42%, and then 5:26 p.m. I was at 30%. I left for the Audi event where I used the camera a lot and came back with 2% of battery life left. That's the battery life you should expect with a phone like this. And now that I'm back in Montreal, I am still struggling. I remember during the F1 weekend, battery really sucked for me. Check this out, okay? There was this one day where I had charged my phone to 71%. Most of the time I was on X, answering emails, using WhatsApp and whatnot, but barely because I had to get to an Apple event we had the same day. So realistically, because I was so busy that day, my phone wasn't being used all that much. I was on Instagram a bit here and there, but for the most part I was filming for some of the new WWDC announcements. Check this out. By 7:26 p.m., my phone was at 41%. Then I called Jan an Uber took a few photos that evening, and by 9:37 p.m. I was at 20%. That gave me 6 hours and 45 minutes of battery life from a 71% charge, which is barely anything. And then on top of that, I had to use maps to get back to my car at night, and I got back to the car with 14% left, and I had to turn on battery saver on. I was literally barely on my phone. Like, what? So yeah, that is one bug that has been driving me absolutely insane. I know it takes one simple update for One UI to literally just correct itself, but damn, it is killing me right now. With this struggle, I do have to carry my Anker battery pack with me. Luckily, I can get a charge from 15% to about 80% in around 30 minutes, which is quite impressive for a phone this powerful. But anyways, when bugs like these happen, as annoying as they are, I'm quite happy that, I still have sort of a backup way to just not struggle with it that much. And it's funny because I had recommended everyone on TikTok and Instagram to avoid updating their phones. So I didn't update it, but rumors are that the new update bricks your battery even more. Anyways, I'm not sure how that can be possible, but it is what it is. Aside from that bug, I'm still waiting for this one camera bug to be corrected. But before we get into that, I do want to clear some things. The telephoto and periscope lenses are really weak at night. I never really found them to be that good, really. I think video as well can be quite grainy at night. I find motion blurs are off. It's got weak low light and indoor performance. It sort of creates these like choppy videos. During my trip, it made me never want to take videos at night, which is why I never really did. However, during the day, the video quality is very solid. My default settings within my video camera are UHD with HEVC running at 30 frames per second. If I needed my video camera quickly to just, film something, I would just whip it out and do whatever I needed to do. The sunset drive-in paros, when I rented that little Fiat, was absolutely incredible. We rented some vehicles to go film some sunset stuff as well, and it was magnificent, really. Video translates really well, and honestly, till this day, I barely use the super steady feature because without it, the sensor does a great job at correcting any shaky movements, so that's cool. These are just some clips I took to give you guys some examples. So I can say that as a phone that you can just easily just whip out and start filming whatever you want to film, it really does deliver, and it does an amazing job at it. It's so good. As for photos, night photos are decent. I do find sometimes the white balance is finicky. It does throw some of the colors off. I'm not the biggest fan of it when it comes to night shooting, but it's definitely nowhere near as bad as taking videos at night. During the day, this is where I fight with this freaking phone. I don't get why sometimes my photos look like I've been standing outside in 40-degree heat with full humidity. Like I have to retake the shot a couple of times or change the angle before it finally starts to look right. When it works, focus for the most part is on point, but sometimes you can indeed struggle with it. The colors though are very stable, and the white balance as well. They seem very natural, and it really doesn't over sharpen subjects. I started also shooting a lot at 50 megapixels because zooming into it is so good. It keeps details really well, and I love the way the pictures turn out. But you know what's crazy is that at 12 megapixels, if you really zoom in, it really looks very nice. So you don't necessarily need to be shooting at 50 megapixels. Now, is this the best camera I've ever used on a phone? Definitely not. Samsung's post-processing is good, but a phone like the Vivo X200 Pro has way better post-processing. The pictures that come out of that phone are absolutely insane. In my personal opinion, it destroys the S25 Ultra. Even when filming log, which is something I was so excited about with this phone, sadly, it's not what I was expecting, as it looks like you are just applying a filter to a regular video file instead of a color grade. With JPEG, I always shoot RAW, mainly because shooting RAW on this phone is a 10 out of 10. I don't know if there was an update that happened that made this quite better, or maybe I was too harsh with it in the past, but RAW currently, like shooting RAW currently, it's amazing. It just feels incredible, especially when I edit these pictures. The edits that come out of this phone are absolutely insane. Just as good as iPhone, if not better from time to time, depending on the picture. That is something that both the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the S25 Ultra do extremely well. Editing raw pictures on Lightroom will make it feel like you are using a $4,000 camera system from time to time, and the telephoto pictures that come out when in RAW are absolutely golden. The same thing I will say about the new 50 megapixel ultra wide lens, although compared to the S24 Ultra, the difference is not as big as you probably would want it to be. But the reality of things, in my opinion, is that, well, there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to JPEG, and there's this feel that JPEG cannot replicate. When you compare JPEG to JPEG with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it cannot replicate the same look that the iPhone sort of outputs. There's this current trend on Instagram going around where people create carousels with their iPhones, and the quality, colors, the mood that the iPhone recreates cannot be replicated by the S25 Ultra. I've tried, but I cannot get that moodiness the iPhone really outputs. So if you're thinking of getting into that niche, the S25 Ultra is just not it. As for the current condition of my phone after 4 months of ownership, with me not having a screen protector but always carrying it with a case, the phone has sustained all my drops really well. There's absolutely no scratches on the body. The back panel with its Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 is intact. The frame in titanium as well. USB-C port has been staying clean. I haven't ran into the moisture issue I had with my S23 Ultra, I believe. And I know I said this wasn't an issue within my first look, but the pen does indeed come out a tiny bit from the body, which sometimes it results on popping out of its socket and chilling in my pocket half inserted. The display, one hell of a display considering how many times it's fallen and the fact that, well, I don't really take care of it. There are really barely any micro scratches. In fact, they are so hard to see that it takes me a while to sort of spot them. It truly seems like I've never ever touched this phone. The glass ceramic is just absolutely insane. So well done, Samsung. To keep the phone immaculate though, in my opinion, you really do need to rock a case. That's just, that's a given. You gotta do it. And I found a case that can add more to the phone than just protection. This is the Pitaka pin button case, and it's unlike any case I've ever used before actually. The standout feature here is 3 customizable pin buttons built right into the side. These aren't just for show. You can assign each button to do almost anything. Like, for example, when I get to the office, I can trigger a set of smart home routines with a single tap. Basically, run complex multi-action tasks within your everyday life. Check this one out though. At the gym, I can open my gym playlist, launch my Whoop and my Beats app all at once. And when I'm done, if I want to take a look at traffic going back home and enjoy the ride while staying connected, I can launch Google Maps, Spotify, and my messaging app for hands-free driving. And if you're really feeling fancy, you can even make it change actions depending on the Wi-Fi network you're connected to. It's basically a smart remote built into the case, a case that is made from premium aramid fiber. That means you're getting serious protection, scratch resistance, drop protection, camera ring guards, and even a subtle lip around the display to guard against face down faults. And here's something Samsung users usually don't get: MagSafe compatibility. The built-in magnets makes this case perfect for wireless chargers and MagSafe accessories with upgraded magnetic strength compared to last year. It's thin too, only about 1.8 millimeters thick, and weighs just over 40 grams. Still feels like you're holding the S25 Ultra without the bulk. Oh, and it looks clean, obviously. No printed patterns, no plasticky feel, and Pitaka's newly redesigned logo adds a nice minimal touch to it. So if you're someone who uses their phone for work, smart home control, multitasking, or just wants a case that does more than protect, the Pitaka pin button case is really worth it. I'll leave a link down below. With One UI 7 having its bugs, personally I feel like One UI is the most complete Android skin out there, and a lot of it has to do with features that enhance it. For example, I use Home Up, there's multi-star, Registar, and Sound Assistant. I made a whole video about my S25 Ultra setup a few weeks ago, but this not only enhances accessibility and ease of use for me, but performance too. Just to give you guys a quick little example, I have quick shortcuts for my calculator and also control center. Outside of this, I've also made changes to my DNS to prevent unknown tracking and some malware. I use the Google keyboard, which I find better than Samsung's keyboard. I've tweaked my side button and home screen accessibility swipes. I got the wallet to be super accessible, power options when you hold it down, lock for my office, and then the camera. It's all right there at my fingertips. And honestly, a lot of the phones I've currently been reviewing just don't get this right, which is weird. I really recommend you watch my One UI 7 video though. I think it'll give you a pretty good idea of how good One UI can be, especially when it's bug-free, because when it comes to performance, it's elite. Like, the phone performs so well. One UI 7 makes all animations feel smoother and the OS feels more complete. The phone does not get hot at all. The speed of exiting and entering apps is faster. You've got much smoother and live notifications everywhere. Lightroom is incredibly stable and fast from what I've been able to gather up to now. Connectivity is also great. I give it a 10 out of 10, although, yo, that OnePlus 13 has the best cell reception I've ever tried on a phone. The S25 Ultra is good, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not as good. Although I've found myself trying to hotspot my girlfriend with her iPhone because, well, her iPhone, sometimes it just, cell reception, not that good. At least not as good as this from what I've been able to experience. The file system as well, it's so good, although I find myself using a better file system app. It's just smoother and faster most of the time, which I really like and enjoy. And overall, to transfer content in between my devices, I use Local Send. I no longer miss AirDrop. It's definitely an app I very much recommend, so you guys should check that out. As a whole, I think that this is the best phone for North Americans, or at least it's the best Android phone for North Americans. But don't forget, you can easily get an S24 Ultra and save some money. Like I mentioned, it's about 90% the same. I don't think I'm missing anything else or any features that I forgot to mention. If there's anything, or if you guys have any questions, just leave them down below. There are a couple of things I didn't really want to talk about because I haven't used them that much. For example, Samsung DeX and the S Pen. Like, I used to use Samsung DeX with my X-Real glasses a lot more before, but I kind of don't use them all that much. And the pen, I did use it a lot when we were planning the house and stuff like that, but ever since I sort of stopped using it. Incredibly useful though when you have it and you need it, which I love. I love that we still have it. I don't want that to go away. But yeah, this has been my 4-month review of the S25 Ultra.